Hi everyone, Dr. Steve back with you, best-selling author of Unhypnosis, How to Wake Up, Start Over, and Create the Life You're Meant to Live, and the creator of Procrastination Annihilation, the mindfulness-based system for getting into action. I am really excited about today's lesson. What I'm going to share with you here today is a technique that I've been using and teaching for the last decade, and it has literally changed my life. How? Well, I don't know about you, but I used to get really upset when things didn't go my way. I'd lose a big contract, or my girlfriend would disagree with me, or my downline wouldn't do what they promised, and it would ruin my day. Now that doesn't happen anymore. I also used to be really shy about sharing my business with people. Now I know how to do that without losing myself and without offending anyone. In fact, I've taken that skill and turned it into one of my keynote speeches called How to Be Honest Without Alienating Everyone You Know. Maybe you'll see that one day. It's really a fun one. Lots of life-changing stuff. Anyway, I have been honored to be part of what we call the mindfulness movement and to have my books and speeches acknowledged by people like Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield, Brian Tracy, and other authors and thought leaders. Now this is a movement, and you're part of it. So pat yourself on the back. What you're doing by investing your time in this technique and learning these other techniques is making yourself into a better person, becoming a more positive influence on those around you, on your kids, your spouse, even on the stranger on the street. You're part of a movement that's saying, enough struggling and stressing and cutting corners to get mine. I'm ready to step up and I'm ready to claim the joy and love and inspiration that life can be and to share it with others. That's my joy in life. That's my intention. That's why I've created this free program for you and why I teach programs that draw people from all over the world to become the people that they want to be, creating success and happiness rather than, I should say it this way, creating success from happiness rather than the other way around. Other benefits to this technique that you're about to learn: better leadership. You know, your ability to lead is directly proportional to your ability to transfer conviction. As a leader, you first need to generate a vision and a strategy to bring it into reality. But then you have to be able to duplicate yourself. You have to be able to get others as excited and committed to getting results as you are. Now let's face it, if you could do it all yourself, you would. But it's hard to build a business, a huge business anyway, where you're the only one working. So you've got to have other people on board to leverage your vision, to extend your reach. But if you can't get them to reliably carry out your desires, you don't have a well-oiled machine, you have chaos. So this is all about creating an unbroken chain of communication and motivation. And guess what those two things require? Right, mindfulness. You see, before you can have an unbroken chain from your mind to the mind of others, you first need an unbroken chain from the part of your mind that comes up with the ideas to the part of your mind that puts them into action. You can't have unblocked relationships until you yourself are unblocked. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, another benefit of this technique is that you'll begin to enjoy the benefits of presence. You'll be able to be here now, rather than doing one thing while thinking about other things. See, once you master this, your spouse and kids will be happier because they'll have you when you're around, rather than a shell. Your employer, your employees, your colleagues, and even your friends will notice a difference in you. So I'll show you how to really enjoy being in the moment and how to discipline your mind to stay present most of the time. If you're in sales, you'll gain more confidence, you'll have more clarity, you can make the sale without selling your soul. And if that's not enough, here are just a few more. Food will taste better. Nice days will seem nicer. And, well, we're all adults here, right? Sex will be more intense than ever because you'll be able to learn how to shut your mind off and get into your body. Now, if nothing I've just said has any impact on you, I'd recommend turning this off right now. But if you could appreciate even just one of the benefits I've just described, get ready for a life-changing lesson. In our last video, we talked about the 4 basic principles. Life is stressful, stress comes from attachment, demands and expectations. We can learn to release our addictions and create a different state, and that there's a roadmap or a method for doing that. And we talked about how this roadmap includes living well, focusing, and eventually gaining wisdom. This lesson is going to teach you how to focus. Now, if I were to tell you that the most important thing you can do is to quiet your mind, you might believe me. You've probably even had moments when you said to yourself, I wish I could just shut this brain up. In fact, we torture ourselves with our obsessive thinking. But simultaneously, you probably believe that quieting your mind is impossible. You might have tried it, and failed. Maybe you even tried meditating, but you got so confused about the method that you gave up. That was definitely the case for me for a long time. I came to this stuff because I was miserable, and I explored hundreds of paths. And I found all kinds of ritualized, complicated, airy-fairy techniques that did more to put me in my head and confuse me than anything else. So, I'm going to show you a process and teach you to understand meditation in a whole new way. Now, naturally, it takes practice, and there are nuances to this. That's why I teach programs like Procrastination Annihilation or the Living in the Present seminar, because I want you to own this stuff. I want you to be mindful, and I want mindfulness to be second nature to you. So I'm giving you a lot of the basic understanding of this process here as much as I can, and then if at some point you do want to take it to the next level, you'll have the resources you can avail yourself of. Later in the program, I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can join us for some of our programs. This is the start, though. This is how you start. You learn these basic principles, and you start practicing them. That's it. And you'll be happier. Now, you may, like a lot of people, myself included, have a knee-jerk reaction to the idea of meditation. You might be thinking, I can't meditate. I've tried that before. I just didn't have the patience. And if that's true for you, you're probably expecting meditation to be something other than what it really is. See, a lot of people start out thinking that the goal of meditation is to enter an altered state. And when they don't get there, they think they failed at meditation. They become impatient because they're trying to achieve this elusive state that they imagine they're supposed to achieve. And then they eventually get bored and they say, forget about it, they've been waiting too long for it to show up. But meditation has nothing to do with altered states. There's nothing for you to wait for. So there's no way to be impatient. What I finally learned is that meditation is simply observing the truth of the moment. Whatever you feel is part of your meditation. Try something. Close your eyes and try to quiet your mind. Do that now, just for a moment. Good. Did you notice that quieting your mind was not an easy task? You know, usually when we try this, we become agitated and anxious. I know I do. That's because without practice, and especially the practice of disidentifying ourselves from our thoughts, we come to believe that we are our minds. So our minds have an ultimate sway over our attention. Now, if you find yourself saying, I don't think I'm my mind, well, guess who said that? Your mind. Now try this. Close your eyes once again and place all of your attention not on your thoughts, but on the sensations you feel in your body. Maybe you could rest your attention on the temperature of your hands, or on the weight of your legs, or the tension in your face. Now be careful. Don't observe emotions, but observe sensations. Notice how all sensations in or on your body have the same quality. They arise, they remain for a time, and then they cease. So now I'm going to give you a simple 12-step process that you can use to help practice meditation. Here we go. Step 1. Sit comfortably with your back upright in a chair or on the ground, however you're comfortable, as long as you're sitting upright. Step 2. Keep your eyes and your mouth closed. Step 3. Take a few cleansing breaths. Try to forget your cares. In fact, you may want to write everything down before you sit down to meditate so that you're not distracted. Step 4. Commit to using this time for self-inquiry, not thought. In other words, this is not the time to try to figure anything out. Just be with your body experience. In fact, if you find your mind wandering, just bring it back. And remember, even the thought, this isn't working, is a thought. Bring your mind back. Step 5. Focus on the breath as it enters and leaves your nostrils. Notice where you feel that breath. Is it warm or is it cool? What does it feel like? Step 6. Don't try to change anything you notice. Just accept it the way it is. Step 7. Give yourself a brief reminder to maintain perfect awareness, perfect equanimity throughout this entire process. Step 8. Begin to become aware of the sensations over your body. Move your attention up and down your body, noticing whatever arises. Step 9. Now this is important. If you become bored, distracted, frustrated, overwhelmed, realize that these are also just sensations. Observe them the same way you do any other sensation. Step 10. Practice this for at least 20 minutes. Now do it for as much as an hour at a time if you can, but it's best to make this a practice that you do in the morning and in the evening. Step 11, bring the puppy back to the paper. What does that mean? When you're training a puppy, it wanders off and you bring it back. And you don't say to yourself, this shouldn't be. You understand that it's a process of repetition. It's the same with your mind. When it wanders off, just bring it back. Don't be frustrated, don't be upset. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. And it's the constant act of bringing it back that gives you the benefits that you'll get from this later. And finally, step 12, remind yourself you are not your thoughts. You are not your mind. You are the calm witness to all of it. You are the silent observer. Now, your mind has a habit of trying to take over. And because of that, you're going to find yourself thinking that you have to think about whatever it is that you're thinking about. Don't do that. According to the third Zen patriarch, stop talking and thinking, and there's nothing you can't know. I also find it helpful when my mind picks up a train of thought and it doesn't want to let go. I remind myself of the words of my friend Barry Weiss, who is a meditation teacher. He says, your ego, that's your mind, will constantly try to fool you into believing that whatever you're thinking about right now is vitally important. So you want to keep working out whatever you get caught on, and don't let it fool you. Now, the practice of observing your sensations will lead you toward liberation. You should commit yourself to at least 20 minutes a day just observing your sensations, noticing when your mind tries to take over and draw you into a thought loop. Whenever that happens, smile at the current habit pattern of your mind, return your attention to the sensation. Notice how it flows. Notice how it changes. Begin to recognize how feelings you used to suppress or indulge are like clouds moving across the sky. They come and they go. And as you practice this art of simple observation, a very interesting thing is going to happen. As situations arise in your life that used to cause you to react negatively, you're going to find yourself more and more quickly leaving behind the churning of your mind, the part that says, this shouldn't be. And you're going to start directing your attention with curiosity and wonder at the inner sensations that you feel. In the next lesson, we're going to focus on that exact process, how to dissolve negativity instantly. We'll focus on how you could apply this process to arrive at the realization that you have nothing to fear and nothing to fix. Your problems are going to start taking care of themselves. You're going to start to appreciate even your most uncomfortable emotions, and you'll discover where you're addicted to certain outcomes. You're going to laugh more, you'll have more compassion for yourself and people and situations which generated your negativity. Now, in the meantime, practice the meditation technique. And remember, keep disciplining yourself to do your daily 8. You are just at the very beginning of your journey. I guarantee that if you persevere, you're going to see unbelievable benefits in every area of your life. You've got to remember, nobody is going to come along and bonk you on the head and say, poof, you're enlightened. You've got to take the initiative. Hopefully at some point you're going to enroll in one of our courses, Procrastination Annihilation, Living in the Presence, and you're going to learn how to use these principles to follow through on your life dreams, but you've got to start somewhere. So start here. Commit to meditation, commit to the daily 8, share this with others, leave your comments, and above all, stay in action. See you next time.